Hey everyone, I'm Matt Gander, the founder and CEO of Altum Strategy Group. It's good to see you again. I'm here today with Ray Palantonio, who's the managing director in our resilience, risk, and governance practice, as well as John Pasquale, who leads the delivery in that space. For today's conversation, we're going to focus on kind of the state of affairs around internal audit and kind of how we see things kind of really beginning as we move into 2025. So with that, Ray, I'll kick it over to you if you want to give us your perspective.
Sure. Thanks, Matt. So for years, we've been supporting internal audit executives and other risk management people within companies on developing and executing their audit plans. What we did recently was to take a different approach of sorts in going out and surveying and interviewing and meeting with executives throughout the organization to see what they believe internal audit should be focused on, not just what the CAE sees as his or her role. So we spent a lot of time speaking with chief audit executives, as well as CIOs, CFOs, private equity, audit committee members, and some of the other folks who are responsible for risk throughout the organization. We took all that information. The question to them was, within your roles and responsibilities and your risk profile, what do you think internal audit should be focusing on that gives you comfort? We took all that information, distilled it a bit, and then we came up with 8 or 9 things that we think were really interesting, where we could support an internal audit function in understanding, executing, or evaluating their progress and their program going forward. And we've issued white papers and some other collateral based on those items that were identified through that survey.
What were the top 2 or 3 of those items in the survey that really, yielded the most interest of the groups and folks that you surveyed?
First and foremost, when it comes to anything from internal audit, in order to be effective, you got to understand the risk profile and what the risk is in the organization. If you're doing an implementation, if you're doing digital transformation, anything that's a change to the environment, the risk profile, the risk appetite are going to be important things to really understand as a foundation and a starting point to be an effective internal audit organization. Secondly, I think one of the key values internal audit teams are going to bring to the space, particularly when it comes to digital transformation, is going to be their depth and breadth of knowledge of the organization. They touch every single facet of an organization, are involved deeply in the operations and making sure the risk is mitigated and managed throughout. Therefore, that unique perspective of kind of working across all those areas puts them in a strong position to help make digital transformations and initiatives on that front as successful as possible.
I guess just to summarize, right, really focused on the nuances and facets of risk within a business. And then secondly, focused on the ongoing increased spend in the digital transformation space.
Well, one other thing I'll add to that as well is, a common theme again is when there's any kind of new technologies that are emerging, there's always new risks. So staying abreast of what's changing, why it's changing, and how quickly it's changing is really going to help internal audit teams be prepared for the business future that's in front of them.
Yeah, and for those who are interested, take a look at all the content we put out about responsible AI and how we view companies should take a risk-based approach to really enabling that in their business, to JP's point about emerging tech.